where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We have got a super, super fun episode today because we've got some East Coast gentlemen that are joining us today. We've got Gene Volpe. We've got Andy Scherer from Pillar 9 Coaching. This is going to be an East Coast, West Coast live Q&A and objection handling smackdown. This is actually kind of a part two. We had one of these, I think it was maybe last month or a couple months ago with Gene and Aaron Wittenstein. I think, Andy, you might have been in on that a little bit too, if I remember right. But we're going to have a ton of fun today. As we record this, this is the last Friday before Halloween. So we're going to have a lot of fun on this episode. We'll talk about our Halloween plans. We'll talk about your questions. We'll talk about marketing. We'll talk about sales. We'll talk about Andy's new hand-built, artisanal, handcrafted office, and all kinds of good stuff. So first of all, let me welcome in my co-partner, co-pilot, the Junior Grandmaster himself, broadcasting live from some undisclosed location in San Francisco.
What up, Johnson? Dude, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so I started off today. Obviously, you can tell me I'm not in my typical surroundings. Neither one of my typical surroundings. Lily and I got up at 4 a.m. God was still taking messages at that point. We took ourselves out over to San Francisco. We went on a hornblower yacht with a company called Daybreak. And we started off at 6:15 doing the downward dog. Dude, how come girls make yoga look so much better than me? I swear to God, I'm sitting there sweating like a stuck pig, moaning and groaning, and these girls are bending and bowing, and it looks great. That this is what yoga's supposed to look like. I said, fuck that. About 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I'm sweaty. I took the rest of the day off, and then we went into a dance party on the top of the yacht, circling the Alcatraz, going out to the Golden Gate, and then coming back in with a 2-hour cruise around the bay. Awesome morning. Then we ended it at the Hyatt here in downtown San Francisco with a beautiful breakfast. So I'm loving my life right now, and I get to hang out with you three crazy fools, which our off-air conversation has already made my day. So the podcast now is just a bonus. So
that's right.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be a ton of fun, and we're going to deliver a ton of value because we can, and so we might as well do that. So we're going to have a lot of fun, but we're also going to take some questions, and we're going to talk about sales and marketing and all kinds of good stuff. So first of all, let's welcome in Andy Scherer. Andy, what's up?
What's up, guys? What's up? How's everybody going? So yeah, Matt, this artisan, what'd you say? How'd you describe this? This artisan,
artisanal,
craftsman,
handcrafted,
artisanal,
farm to table, office.
Farm to table.
That's right.
F to T, baby. F to T.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just built this in about a week and a half. So you guys are the first people to actually see this live. My group coaching students haven't even seen this. Nobody's seen this at this point. This is my first full day in my what I think the color is honeyed white.
Honeyed
office here. So honeyed white.
Ooh, honeyed.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, dude, you're doing the big debut here on the show. We're honored. We didn't even know we were going to have this privilege today.
It is a launch. It is now a launch party.
I go from a dance party to a launch party. This is a party of a day. I'll do it. And then we got the bald ninja genius over there. What's up, Volpinator?
What? Yeah, it makes me very uncomfortable that he knows what honey white is. There's only 7 colors on the rainbow. Like, what is honey white? What does that mean?
According to Bear Paint, there's like 1,500 different shades of white.
Yeah. Ew, that's confusing, man.
Crap. Yes, that's no guy should ever have to pick out 1,500 shades of white for anything. All right, let's get to a question.
We go snowblind on that. We got that. Yes, that's just mean. It's mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine if you accidentally glance out the window and you catch a bit of sunlight in your eyes, and then everything's just thrown off. Like everything just looks yellowish white for the next 15 minutes. Like imagine trying to pick out a shade of white like in a room. Okay.
No.
So let's cover this question first because this jumped out at me. This is a great one. We'll start with Greg, and then I want Andy's opinion on this. So Steve Wynn says expired seller lead tells you he's getting a million calls, says it's off the market, and bam, hangs up. You call back. And he answers, and you have a few seconds to catch his attention. What are you saying? Greg, what do you think?
Hi, Matt. Hey, I'm sorry about that. I must have hung up on you. I'm so sorry. I think I hit the wrong button. Hey, so again, let's get back to what we were talking about.
Nice.
I actually did that, no joke, to this ass-tart dickhead when I was doing calls, and it was a follow-up. So I immediately I'm like, oh, fuck this. This guy's not getting away with this. So I'm like, pop, 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 pop. Ring, ring. Chick picks up. Hi. I think I must have hung up on you. I think it's a new phone. I think I hit the wrong button. So what were you saying about what your plans were in real estate? Dude, not only did she talk to me, I got her cell phone and her email address. She actually thought it was humorous. So it works.
That's awesome. All right, very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Andy, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I would go almost the same approach, right? Like, I think Greg and I have a very similar personality style when it comes to that. So I would do something like, I think we just got disconnected. I know there's some new cell towers over at Verizon. So just really curious, the house did come off the market. Now, are you looking to sell now or next year? And just start rolling with it. But, play the whole disconnected card or whatever else. Like, that's a time for you guys to have fun. And just be a sarcastic asshole. Like, I'm sorry, but that's a time for you guys to have some fun.
Well, yeah, because they were treating you like shit. Just play with them. Just don't be mean, but just bat them around like a cat does a little ball of yarn. Just
That's right.
All right. If they hang up on you again, what's the biggest loss? Nothing. You move on.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, so let's cover this one. I want to go in reverse order here because this is a very social media question.
Wait a
Gene,
minute.
do you have
Gene's answers.
Gene, do you have a strong opinion on how to handle an expired listing on the phone?
Yeah. Listen.
Okay.
It's simple. You like this. I have your address, right? Right? I'm a realtor. I have your address. Don't hang up on me again. I got something I want to talk to you about.
And I know your mortgage balance.
I know where you live, right? Don't hang up on me again.
Don't do it.
I know that you have 3 kids, and the littlest one is the blonde one, right?
That's right.
And people are like,
That's right.
That's awful.
So your
That
kids,
last
they
part's
go
awful.
to Washington Middle School, right? They pass by the Oak and Neibolt Street. Yeah. Oh my God.
Have you ever seen that Geico
don't do
commercial
that.
where they're doing that on the street, and the old guy meets the girl from the old class, and he's like, "That trip you were on last week," and he's like, "That 9-year-old, she's really gonna fill out, isn't she?" And she's like, "I gotta go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
See, now I thought
horribly
Gene was going to go
creepy.
more towards like the Facebook stalking or LinkedIn stalking, Like, I got your address and I know your name. I'm going to friggin' geo-target you on Facebook.
That's right.
You can do that too, yeah.
oh my God, this is too much fun.
Oh, that is fun. Okay, next question. This is from Jason Ailman. This is in the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections group. If you guys are not already a member, go join immediately. Jason says, I'm wondering, I just secured a listing contract. Do I friend request my clients now, after we go to market, after it's sold? Never. So, Gene, what say you on the subject of when do you friend request your clients on Facebook?
Oh man, I do all the time. No, I do. I mean, but I also use my personal feed as more of my business feed as well. Like, I kind of integrate the two, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm in a different space than real estate agents, and like I tell this in my presentations a lot. If I have a potential client that wants to do business with me, and then they decide they don't because they're on my Facebook feed and they see I like the Eagles and I'm drinking beer on a Tuesday at noon with you guys, I don't really want that to be my client. That's not my person, right? But I'm leaving $400 to $1,500 on the table there. So for me, it's not really a big deal. I would rather just get the volume and the people that want to work with me, and I want to work with them. As an agent, that could be a $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 commission you lose because of that. So if you are running your Facebook personal profile and are not worried about your clients potentially seeing your rants about politics or racism or your religion, then I would say you absolutely do it right away. If you're concerned about that, lock your profile down, keep those folks over onto your business profile.
Yeah. I think I just personally, I'm like Eugene, but I'm at the level where I just don't give a flying fuck. If you don't like me, that's okay, man. That's cool. Go work with Betty White over there if you want white glove treatment. If you want real human being who has an opinion about things and loves to joke around, works hard, is ethical, honest, transparent, and downright a good dude, I'm your guy. If you want Matt Johnson, I can refer him over to you. I don't.
Great, because I'm the opposite of all those things. Thank you, Grant. I appreciate that. If you like a horrible, unethical, unhonest, and he probably is like horribly flatulent, like he's just an awful, flatulent racist, like I'm going to send you right over to Matt.
He probably farts in elevators and then gets off while he leaves his boss on the elevator, right? I'm sure that's what he does.
Whoa.
Yeah, and frantically pushing the button.
Who would do something like
It's
that?
actually, and it's not even subtle either. It's a crop dusting move, and then as soon as the elevator cracks open, it's like a shoulder roll through, and then sprint down. It's great.
That would be the Matt. That would be the Johnson.
Listen, we're 12 minutes into this show. We've gone the fart direction, downhill from here.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here. Let's bring it back uphill. So, Gene, I would tend to agree with you, and I was actually there's a great discussion going on in one of the other. There's another agent that has like 5,000 friends, and she's tried to move folks over to a fan page and a business page, and is struggling to do so. I'm curious, Gene, what you think of this, because a lot of people are in the position of trying to figure out where they're going to put their time and effort, right, into social media, especially on Facebook. Do you put it in your personal profile? If you're the type of person like Paul Franklin mentioned, that his private Facebook profile is not suitable for exposure to his clients. Now, we'll not get into why that is. I don't want to know or care. But if that's you and you feel like your personal profile is not suitable for business and you're not going to change, right, you got to get people over to another property. So, Gene, how do you go about doing that?
There's a lot of ways, and I think that you want to really incorporate. We were talking about this a little bit earlier today. You want to incorporate all of your marketing into all of your marketing. Here's what I mean by that. Everything you do, like if you decide that you're going to be a Facebook business guy and you're going to hit that hard, you need to let everybody know that in every aspect of marketing that you do. So in other words, if you put mailers out, you got to give people the ability to get to your Facebook business page and want to be there. Number one, it should be in your signature. It should be out on your personal page. You need to put it on Twitter. Like, you need to cultivate this stuff. You don't put up your business page and stop what you're doing. You have to pay it some attention, engage, continue to invite. So one of the things I do that works really well for me is every time I do a speaking engagement, I typically don't charge for that stuff. I go out and talk to 50 realtors at a time, and I say, look, I want to cultivate my Facebook following because that's where everybody is. And I say, if you like what I'm throwing at you, I'm not asking you to buy my service. I'm not asking you to pay for anything at all. Go like my business page. And every time I come out of a class, I get 15 or 30 new people following on my business page where I now have their attention.
Yeah.
First of all, Gene, they should not be allowed out of the room until they sign and hand their phone over to you and like your Facebook page. I'm just saying, like, just have somebody at the back. And it's not like a threatening thing, but maybe they stand in front of the door. Yeah, I mean, you just have like a bouncer with you, and it's not, it's more the implication. It's implied that if you don't like my business page, that you will not be able to leave the room. It's never stated.
Never stated physically. You will not be able to leave the room.
In the back of the room, if you take a look at my Uncle Tony, he'll help you set that up.
Exactly. You're in Philadelphia. You're in Philadelphia. You're on the East Coast. You got to be able to find some of those guys.
I got plenty of them. I got plenty of them.
I believe you. So one of the viewers has a good question. Masapur, if I'm getting the pronunciation right, says, not sure if Betty White will be able to help you. You'll never know if she can make it to the next showing appointment. 100% true. Love that comment. That was funny. So, Andy, how do you feel about as far as where do you put your time and effort and energy and resources into Facebook, and how do you know, like, in terms of moving people over to another property?
I mean, I think it's just simply setting expectations, right? So first and foremost, if you're not attracting your ideal clients and you can't like express yourself on that Facebook profile because, whatever, you're at a dance party and things turn bad, Greg.
On a yacht.
And you want to hide those things. I mean, then, yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to want to go towards a business page or whatever else. But like I view social media, again, and anything that has to do with testimonials or reviews or anything like that, the personal profile is probably the easiest one to go through, in my humble opinion. But again, it all comes down to setting expectations for your clients. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to send you a Facebook friend request, and that way you can share your story. When I publish the house and start to market the house, you can also share that with your friends as well, right? So like I would say, as soon as you get the listing, have that as a part of that like partnership expectation that you guys set in that relationship development phase. And then as soon as you do that, and really what you're doing is fulfilling a promise in terms of that expectation that you already set. So I'm going to send you that invite. You leave with the signed paperwork and you're sending an invite right from your car. That's immediate fulfillment of the promise that you just set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I like that. I would work it into. I would incorporate LinkedIn in that too, because if I have a client that I really want to work with, that I enjoy, that resonates with me, like I want to know everyone in their network. and I want to get connected to them on LinkedIn because I want to be second level connections with all the people in their world. So when I start to go searching for other people to connect with, now I have this whole other network of people that are opened up to me, where LinkedIn is going to surface the friends of that person, way high up in my search, and I can start connecting with them rather than just random people. So yeah, I mean, to me, I use Facebook for both business and personal, but mostly business. And so I'm the same way. Like, as soon as somebody comes into my world, even before their clients. Now, if you call an expired and you're in an appointment later that morning, that's fine. But if you're courting them, they're Facebook friends with me before they become clients. In fact, that's part of how they become clients. Typically, is we're Facebook friends first, and they see the content. Right, that builds the respect, that builds the credibility, that builds the sense of expertise in what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of times, about long before they've even become clients, they've been Facebook friends before that. But if not, yeah, friend request them immediately.
Yeah.
Well, I see no problem with it about bringing people in, friend requesting them. The reason why is that you can put them into their special list that you can develop for them. So it could be potential clients, real estate agents, call it whatever you want. But instead of looking at your main news feed, you have access to follow, be relevant in front of them, and be seen by their other friends and family when you make comments. You like who is this Greg? Who's this Matt guy? Well, I don't know, who is he? Click on him. Oh, he's the real estate agent guy. Oh, okay, whatever. But I think it's important. I mean, it depends. Everyone has a different filter level. Mine's pretty low. Matt's a little bit higher. Gene and Andy, man, you guys have a little bit higher filter levels. Most of the agents are not as gregarious as I am, for the most part. So I don't think there should be a major problem. The only thing I might see, especially with someone like my sister, if she got into real estate, dude, she doesn't want her kids being seen anywhere except for a very controlled environment on social media. That's why only on Instagram will she post any photos of her children, and is very mother bearish about who gets to be in that news feed. So that's the only reason why I probably wouldn't, if you're a mother or a father and you didn't want to expose your family life to the whole wide world. So yeah, that's the only thing.
And again, that's where I would just set up a whole different personal profile, right?
I think it's funny that we've shifted the way we look at people for things that they decide they want to do for themselves. Because back in the day, it was like, if you didn't have a Facebook account, it was like, oh, that's pretty smart. Now, if you don't have a Facebook account, people are like, what's he hiding? Right? So seriously, I mean, you think about it, and I talk about it from a health perspective too. It's like, I was 215 pounds at one point. I looked like a stuffed sausage. I dropped all this weight. I lost like 45 pounds. I was in the best shape of my entire life at 40 years old. And people were like, you think he's okay? Like, is there something wrong with him? Like, dude, I'm taking care of myself. Like, we're such fat Americans that we just have that, like, oh, it's a sin. He's not eating as much beef and pasta as he used to. There must be something wrong.
You know what? That actually really is funny, because for a while, several years ago, my dad, for some unknown reason, went on this kick and just shaved his head and kept it shaved for like 6 months, bicked, like bald, like Gene bald, and everyone started whispering like, "Is he sick? Does he have the cancer?" Yep. And we're like, "No, he just got on a kick. He doesn't want to mess with the comb. I don't know. He just weird funky mood. Why did Britney Spears chop her hair off? I don't know. She went nuts.
Well, that was cocaine.
She was on cocaine.
Yeah, that was cocaine.
Do you have something to tell us about the Grandmaster, Greg?
Yeah, he does not do cocaine. I can tell you that.
All right. Well, let's take a quick step back here and let people know how to connect with each of us, and then I want to dive into some stuff that we've been seeing, Greg, you and I on the calls we've been doing this week. So first of all, Andy, how do people connect with you?
Easiest way, email. So Andy@pillar9coaching.com. So PILLAR, the number 9coaching.com.
You know how much I joke around, but you know how helpful that is for dyslexics like me? I'm like, oh, good. I'm going to go back and rewind that and pause that and go slow and spell pillar. Oh, there we go. I'm not kidding.
Gene,
that's awesome.
Gene, how about you? How do people connect with you?
Here's what's great for you to remember too, GeneVolpe.com.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
With a dirty man, yeah, at the end.
Yeah. All right, now, for Greg and I, very, very simple. So you can book a call with us. We are now offering individual one-on-one coaching. We have very limited time slots available. So each one of us has a specific time set aside per week. And speaking of, we were talking before the episode went live about getting kicked in the taint. Hank, Coach Hank has kicked us square in the taint and insisted that we need to start coaching people one-on-one. And so that's what we're doing. We've put off the demand and stuff like that for a couple years now. So if you guys are interested in having a conversation, a very deep conversation about what's going on in your business, in your life, in your career right now, and you want to really take a step forward to make things better and become massively successful, and you're willing to do what it takes, then go book a call. We're doing coaching separately, so depending on who you resonate with more, you can go to each one of our calendar links and grab yourself a time to chat with us. It's very easy. It's bookmcdaniel.com and bookjohnson.com. So
not book
there,
A
guys.
Johnson. Do not go to Book A Johnson or Book A Big Johnson. Those are bad sites. Those are no sites.
All right.
Oh my
so,
God.
Andy, I want to get into something real quick, and we'll see where this little rabbit hole takes us. But had an interesting conversation with one of our viewers and students on one of our courses, right? And he was kind of sharing what he's doing and where he's at in his business. And what's happening is, I think, something that's happening with a lot of agents, whether it's specific to I'll throw the problem out there first, and then we can talk about how it varies. But essentially, here's the problem. They are allowing client service to take the place of and be more important than lead generation, and essentially looking to that as waking up every day looking at the client service as the most important thing, setting no goals at all for lead generation, and just essentially saying, well, I'll get to that when I have extra time. And I for one, am shocked, Andy. That extra time often does not materialize. I know that we're all, I know, Greg, pick yourself back up off the fluffy chair, get back up in the chair. But amazingly enough, when we say that we'll do the lead generation in the extra time that we have, that extra time often does not materialize. And so
Dude, it's such bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, it is.
I mean,
why is it bullshit?
Right,
because here's the excuse, or here's the rationale that you'll get, which is that I can't control that, right? I can't control the client service. I can't control this. But my seller's calling me at 9 a.m. Like, I have to pick that up.
No.
Yeah, no.
So, Andy, what say you?
Stop it.
How do you deal with that with coaching clients? Silly goose.
Yeah, right? Like, you silly person, you.
Silly goose.
No, so, I mean, just being candid, it's straight up bullshit, right? So, like, the common thing, you're absolutely right, dude. Like, the common response is, I'll make up for it tomorrow, or I'll make up for it. There is no freaking making up for it, dude. Like, you can only give 100% every day, and I guarantee you there's not a single, I'll take that back, it's a small percentage of agents who actually give 100% every damn day, right? Like, there's a very, very small percentage. Everybody else is sitting there doing, like, what, 60, 50, 40, lower?
I would like to point out, Greg, that you're pointing at yourself, that you give 100% every day. You're on the call from a fluffy chair after you took the morning off and did something else that's not real estate related.
It's 1 fucking day, douchebag. You just got done traveling the fucking country. Give me a break. To have a fucking day.
For work. For business.
Business. Where the Pampers is.
And Mr. Johnson has a donkey in the background, so don't mess with him.
Right.
He's a jackass.
Yeah.
So I'm not the jackass. Okay.
Well, that's not. We're not telling anybody something they didn't know.
So let's be honest here. When it comes to doing prospecting, we fuck around a lot on this show. But when it comes down to it, brass tacks, I'll beat the fuck out of anybody when it comes to prospecting. Arne and Stefan tried to step up to me the other day, and I summarily smacked them down to the ant size that they thought they were growing from. Look up any day, Tinkerbell. Let's go. You know, and you know they said
I'll sprinkle some Tinkerbell dust on you.
But you know, the fact of the matter is the fact that, you know, when you say you're going to do something, you got to stick to it. And I told them I was going to do 500 to 750 phone calls, and I had a ton of things to get done. And I still made it happen. I had to do breaks. I had to do the podcast. I had to do everything else. Every single other second. If I wasn't, you know, taking a quick leak or you're writing something down from a lead I got, I was dialing without a second care in the world, and I hit my numbers and above. Then I did 20 follow-ups, found 4 leads in one day because I stuck to my guns. So when someone says they can't do it, they're full of shit. They can't. It's not that they can't do it; they don't want to do it. It's a very big difference.
It's avoidance.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to get to. It's avoidance. Yeah, right. And what's happening really is that they don't have they don't have a burning desire, right, to get those things off of their plate, and that's a whole other
even
issue.
if they do, I mean, even if they do, Matt, even if they claim, well, and here's the deal, right? They may claim like they do have a burning desire, yet the burning desire isn't causing enough pain for them to actually take action, right? Like they're completely avoiding that. Like there's either not enough pain or pleasure for them to actually move forward and do what the hell they're supposed to be doing.
Well,
like,
Andy,
no
if
joke,
if there's a burning desire, they should probably go see a doctor. Okay, I'm just saying. But I mean, besides that, when it comes to prospecting, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Greg, for God's sake, I don't even know what to do with that. It just laid there.
I know. I just let it sit in.
Yeah, it had nowhere to go from there. But here's the deal, Andy, and I'm glad that you said like it's bullshit, and people need to realize that it's bullshit because they're giving it to themselves, right? And so the faster you can uncover that and realize, oh wait a minute, no, this is not right. Like I have way more control over this than I'm giving myself credit for. Right. There's a lot of things I think like that in our lives where we tell other people and we even tell ourselves, we have this conversation with ourselves that there's nothing I can do about that. Right. Well, I can't do that because of this.
God, I hate
and
that.
then I can't do that
because
of this. And so I'm locked in this little box. But yeah, you always have a choice. And the question is, if you haven't broken out of that, why isn't it driving you up a wall? Right? Like if you really want to grow your real estate business and you want to have those conversations that turn into deals, Andy, why are they not crawling up the walls to get out of the busy work that will free them up to have those conversations? That's
because they're using it as a reason.
Right.
I mean, quite simply, they're using it as a reason. You know, I'm too busy. It is what it is. I mean, that by the way, it is what it is comment is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, it is what you're not
I haven't had that
change.
come up before, but okay. So it is what it is, as in this is a condition that I cannot do anything about.
Yeah, very much so, right? Like it's like, oh well, I have to take a call from a lender at 9. I have to go to the home inspection. I have to do the appraisal. I got to be there every step of the way. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like they keep coming up with reasons, and that's really what they're doing. Is simply just coming up with reasons, and there's always going to be other reasons. Gene, you have a confused look on your face. It's awesome.
I'm not even going. Just keep going with your rant. I'm loving it.
Oh, well, let's talk about this for a second, Gene, because you and I feel like are probably a little bit better at this than the average, which is systematizing the client services so that we don't get sucked into it all the time, right?
You know, it's one of the things I struggle with all the time. I mean, I say this a lot. I do a lot of lead gen, and I do a lot of following up and cultivating those leads. But I can also tell you that if I do the proper amount of customer service and do it properly, my clients would never, ever leave. So the only time I ever actually lose a client in my business is because I haven't been paying them the attention that they deserve. So I'm actually trying to get better. I mean, I think for me, it's always a struggle, right? So it's always one of these like, because you said there's never any time. You got to time block that out, and your 1 hour for one client turns into 3. So what happens to the next 2 clients you had lined up? It's tough. But customer service for me is humongous. But I'm going back to your original question. I mean, if all you're doing is customer service and you lose 2 clients, that pipeline needs to be there for the next 5, right? So you still have to lead gen. You can't sacrifice one for the other all the time, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Something about that is that, I mean, when people say they don't have time, it's not that they don't have time. They just don't prioritize it. And so what I did a couple of months ago, I got sick and tired of these pesky couple of pounds that were sitting on me. And so I'm like, okay, where do I have time that I can put an extra little something, to work? And I figured out every time I'm on a longer call than like 5 minutes, I'm going to take it on my cell. I'm going to go out the back door and I'm going to walk on the trail. And I'm going to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. And that ended up, I lost my weight. And then I walked so much, I almost tore my calf muscle. I went a little overboard. But I'll tell you one thing, I found the time in my day to do something that I wanted to get done. And the pain was big enough for me to sacrifice something else. So instead of me sitting in a nice air-conditioned office, I'm like, I'm going to go sweat, outside during a work day because I want to lose these pounds. And so I tell a lot of people, look, if you're driving an hour each way because you live a long ways from your office, go get a Blue Parrot headset, go get a Wi-Fi booster, and you know what? Get Mojo on your laptop, do calls from your car with a Blue Parrot headset. They will think you're sitting in an office. What you're doing in that time is probably listening to a DJ. I mean, maybe you're listening to our podcast or another podcast or a book on tape or something, but there's a high probability that you're not. Stevie Wonder comes on and you just can't help yourself. I mean, just that soul music will roll through you, but you're not doing anything good for your business.
There's just sometimes I just got to dance, Greg. There's just sometimes I just have to dance.
That's why I got
That's something I would love to see, man. God,
To Greg, your point too, I think people allow the work to fill the time that they have. Right? If they're not being intentional with their time, and I have to write up this offer. I mean, if you don't, well, number one, there's a system behind it, but number two, if you don't have the system in place, writing an offer could take 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, simply because you want to fill that time.
Right, but you can put a template together and save it in your MLS or whatever system you're using. I know you can save templates for offers. You can save templates for counter offers. You can do all of this stuff. So you can
it's another reason that somebody doesn't want to let go of.
Right, but another thing that I want to bring up here is that a lot of the time the people who don't do the prospecting are the people who might be in the beginning or middle of their career where they haven't seen a lot or any success from the prospecting. Therefore, they don't prioritize it. And it's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym for 8 hours one day, you're not going to get in shape. If you go to the gym 1 hour a day for 4 months, you're going to get in shape. It's bit by bit, piece by piece is how you're going to get the big deals. How you're going to become a dominant agent. Don't think because you have one investor that's going to do all this, all these deals with them. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen, guys. You got to find multiple streams of business. Otherwise, you will go hungry. And I'm sorry to have to say that, but it's an absolute fact of the matter. Gentlemen, do you agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's online, there's offline, high tech, high touch, networking. I mean, anywhere you go, hand a freaking business card out. I don't care if it's I handed one to the waitress in the restaurant here. She barely speaks English, but it's a habit. You never know. What if her cousin or friend or family member that lives in the East Bay, somehow that card magically makes it over there? But I kept my habit. My dad is religious about that. Everywhere he goes, he asks the servers or the staff. I mean, even the freaking stewardesses on the plane. So what do you make? What are you doing with all the money you're making being a stewardess? And they look at him like, I'm barely scraping by.
What money?
But it's a habit, and he was incredibly successful because he was out there talking to people with no fear. Guys, release the fear of rejection. They're not saying no to you; they're saying no to your offering. Huge difference. But so many people take the word of no, thank you, as we don't like you as a human. And I think that when people separate that out, they'll see success in their eyes more quicker.
Yeah, there was a really, really, really interesting exchange, Greg, that you and I had with Pasquale on the back end of all the stuff that we're doing with the mastermind and all this stuff. And he asked you, take me back to when you were first doing cold prospecting calls. Did you ever experience that feeling of rejection and feeling bad over the rejection and getting hung up on or told to screw off and yada yada? And you're like, well, of course. I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean, you're a human being, like you feel it. And he asked you how did you overcome that? And of course, at first you gave this BS, well, I just had to and yada yada. What it comes down to,
I really had to.
No, well, I know that you had to, but again, that's as Pasquale told you, that's the why. It's not the how. The how is you use your sense of humor.
Yes, I started making fun of that, and that's why the cold calls now are humorous, because I say what everybody else thinks. I allow it to be entertaining and fun. And if you guys allow yourself to find it entertaining and funny as well. I mean, if you're door knocking and someone yells, "Get the f off my porch, you shithead," just be like, someone got served with divorce papers, sucker, and walk off. I'll be back later.
Toodles. That's why I love Toodles, because it's such a great It's such a great pattern interrupt for someone who's being a dick. I love it.
Oh, I never get anyone mad about
Wait,
that.
let's go back. I want to go back and dig into something real quick. You said because I had to. That wasn't the driving force. Why did you have to?
Because I was broke and I had no other training. I have a college dropout.
Because you were broke. There was shit you wanted to do. You couldn't do it because you were broke, and so you had to, right?
Like eat,
right? So, but there was a motivator behind the fact that you had to, and if your motivator is strong enough, it'll push you in any direction that you need to go.
Oh yeah, back when I came back the second time after I left the team unceremoniously, I mean, I had nothing and no one to land on. My dad, my mom were going through financial hard times. All my friends in real estate were flat ass broke. I'd gone through bankruptcy and foreclosure, or I went down to $35. I remember sitting in my room, $35 to my name. I was in this 1920s home. Just every fucking thing in that house leaked. Every window leaked. Every door had massive cracks. They had spiders everywhere. And I'm like, this has got to be the shittiest point of my life financially. And then I remembered I had $200 in traveler's checks. I quadrupled my net worth in one little find. But that allowed me.
You quadrupled your net worth. You found a couple of pieces of paper in a drawer. Oh, that's awesome.
But my drive, the next day, like to your point, I got up, Gene. I'd never done it before. I put on, khaki pants. Didn't quite fit me right. Had a dress shirt of my dad's. Had a couple of holes in it because moths had eaten it. Was wearing one of my dad's old ties, which there is actually a photo of me wearing this outfit. I will find this photo. My dad took a photo of it. A blue tie with red polka dots on it. Barely learned how to tie. I had to watch YouTube to learn how to tie the damn tie because I've never really wore a tie. And then I went out every single day, door knocked, wrote letters, did calls 7 days a week, 8 to 9 hours a day. I wasn't going to let it kill me. And that's what people have got to understand. They've got to have that want, not that need, not that want. You barely do what you should. You will always do what you need. End of the matter. End of the discussion. You need to take that next breath. You don't need to have the next client right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this.
Yeah.
It's increasing the psychological necessity behind it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just moving it to a must, to a non-negotiable.
So something here's
funny.
Here's
I just
the
had
thing
that
I want to talk
conversation
about
with my
this.
10-year-old football players.
Tell us about that.
I assume this is while they were building your new office, but that's beside the point. Guys, so if you've ever gone through anything like that, guys, where you've had that experience of either going through bankruptcy, going through a tough time like that, we'd love to hear. Let us know. Hit the like, hit the heart button. Let us know that you know what that's like to go through something like that. I think you'd be surprised. I think most people would be shocked to know how many ultra successful people have been through bankruptcy. I think it was Dan Kennedy that actually said that is the dirty little secret of entrepreneurship. That almost every single one of them have gone through something like that.
At least once.
So here's the thing that I was talking with Pasquale about this morning as we were going through some of the lessons that Greg and I are learning from our initial steps into coaching. And this is something that I would not have realized if I hadn't read the book Outwitting the Devil. So this is part of why I recommend it so much to people, which is this. Part of the whole point of Outwitting the Devil, especially the first 2 chapters where Napoleon Hill tells his personal story of failure and how he worked his way back from failure, especially with the one big breakthrough that he had when he basically had to seclude himself in the woods of West Virginia to get a breakthrough. Right. So he gets into this situation where it's a desperate situation, right? Where he is absolutely, he's committed, and it's like life is just fighting him so hard. And he gets himself into a position where all of a sudden he taps into something else. I think he calls it the other self, right? It was just this other level of creativity. And Greg, that is exactly what happened to you, right? So you get yourself into the situation where you had to figure it out. And if you're in that situation, your mind will find a way out of it. Your mind found humor, for example. You found the way to force yourself to physically get out there. You had to borrow clothes. You borrowed a tie, right? So you pulled all this stuff together that if you weren't in that situation, you wouldn't have done that. The question is, how do you get that level of urgency without life forcing it on you?
Well, life does have to force it on you in one way, shape, or form. It might not be as severe as mine or some of the other people's, but I mean, it could be a force of maybe, God forbid, knock on wood, a child gets sick, a spouse gets sick, maybe a grandparent or a mother or a father in their elderly years start losing their stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, we know life will do that.
Wait, hold on. I'm in the middle of fucking talking, dude. Please, Jesus, I'm trying to get to a point here. But otherwise, it could be something. Shut up. Fuck. You're drawing this out. You're doing this to yourself now. My point is, you know what? If you can't, if life isn't going, if it doesn't shit on you the way it shit on me, then I want you guys, if you don't want to go through that, I want you to start gamifying you're prospecting. I want you to turn it into an actual game with scorecards, and I want you to have wins and losses at the beginning of the day. You make up your own game. How's it going to play out? Pick someone who you can play it with and play the game every day with a reward at the end.
Yeah.
Because going through that and going through what I went through, not fun. Making a game every day and being successful at it because you got to where you wanted to be and you got a micro win, those micros turn into macros real quick.
So, Andy, let's start with you, and then I'm curious, let's go to Gene. Andy, how do you measure, define, and kind of celebrate your own success on a daily basis? How do you define whether a day is a win?
Yeah, so every day, have I left a profit in some place, someone, or something today?
Have you left a profit?
I ask myself that question every day.
No, is it a profit like cash or like a profit like you left a bit of knowledge with them?
A gain. So have I, right. So it's knowledge or insight or a change or implementing something, right? So like, I mean, that's really what I'm looking at is a legacy of impact. So if I'm looking at a legacy of impact, what is really impact? And it's simply profit. And it's not necessarily cash profit, but so it's just like a legacy isn't cash. It's everything else.
So, I mean, a profit with somebody, I mean, it could be as little as saying, hey, Stacy, you look fantastic today. Or Bob, phenomenal job on that.
Or simply smiling.
Or simply smiling.
I mean, like, no joke, like you go to a restaurant and you know that waitress is at a ridiculous day. Just having a gentle conversation with that person can drastically change that trajectory for that person.
I had when I checked into the Hard Rock Hotel down in San Diego when Matt and I were doing the speaking down there, he had no clue of the impact it had on me. The guy who was at the front counter when I was checking in, the conversation I had with him led me to leading a raving review about the Hard Rock Cafe because the way he treated me, it wasn't like a number. It wasn't like next guest. It was like, dude, I'm seriously fucking interested in who you are, and I think you're pretty awesome. And I'm like, I walked away and I'm like, fuck, I should have come back and told him that. And he got off shift or whatever else. But I forgot to compliment him on that because that was an incredible experience to go through. And guys, if you get something like that done to you, make sure that you compliment that person that did it to you. They might not even know what they've done. And it's
so on this video, I'm gonna put a link to one of my favorite videos of all time. It talks about lollipop moments. It's TEDx talk. So I'll post the link on there. It's maybe 6 minutes of a video. The thing's freaking amazing. But that's really what it comes down to, dude, is just our impact, our influence over somebody and actually helping them have lead a better week or a better day or a better minute for that matter.
Yeah, it really is.
So that's really good. And for you being in coaching, 100% congruent with what you do and set yourself up for success, because not only are you creating like super delighted clients that will then refer you and it keeps on building practice, but that is like when you're doing that, when your goal is to do that to the outside world too, like that's how more relationships like that come into your life. We're reading a book called The Prosperous Coach right now that Hank gave to us the assignment to read. Phenomenal book, and all the principles apply. Gene, I encourage you to go read it because it'll apply to your marketing business as well.
I would say anybody looking to ever become a coach, that is the coaching business. It's like the MREA for coaches.
It really is.
And the thing is, and Greg and I are not, like looking to build a coaching business per se, although that will be part of the team that we're building and stuff like that. But what we really want to do, and the reason that we're getting into coaching, is because we want to be better leaders. And that's really what coaching is. It's leading other people to the results that they want. And so anybody, regardless of whatever leadership position you're in, that book is phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Just the approach of attracting clients, if you can, and they don't like that term, but whatever you want to call it, lead generation, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like it's attracting people by doing exactly what you would do for them in the service, which is treating them like their clients before they're even signed up as clients, which I love that approach. And I've loved that since, Jay Abraham talked about that, the strategy of preeminence.
And so, you guys,
that's very, very congruent.
Right. If you guys are curious, Matt and I can't really talk about publicly what we're talking about with this team, but if you guys are curious, PM me, PM Matt, and have a conversation if you want to learn anything about what this is. But when we can go public with it, it's going to be awesome. We already have people that are joining our team in that level they are starting to pick up, and it's going to be. I don't know about you, Matt. It's going to be a wild, fun ride, dude. I mean, we're bringing sexy back, just like the great Justin Timberlake once said, "Bringing sexy back."
They're great. Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm flashing back to 30 years from now when Justin Timberlake's like a U.S. senator, and he's like, "Now, as the great esteemed gentleman from the great state of California, Mr. Timberlake said, let's bring sexy back." All right,
Oh my gosh.
Gene, let's go to you. How do you define, measure, and celebrate success on a daily basis?
So we start with the two basics: am I alive, and am I in jail? Right.
Okay.
And if you're alive, it's a good day. If you don't have
Send the
handcuffs
bar
on,
nice and high for Philadelphia.
nice and high.
I don't know.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is. But I think I'm in the same boat as you guys. I really do, and this is going to sound goofy, but I really do try to be a servant leader in a lot of cases. I feel like I would make a good politician at one point or another, because I feel like I'm constantly giving of my own time in instead of profit, when I really do realize that my time given generously will lead to profit. So I don't know. There's a lot of variables. So I have my business, there's a couple things. I just got a text message from somebody saying, "Glad you're not in jail."
I love it.
Yeah, it was probably one of my cop friends too. But
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
I break it up like three ways: health, family, and business. Business, that I gain any more clients, that I make my way further towards, a client cultivation. I review some of that I make the right conversations, make enough phone calls. Family, are my girls healthy and in bed, comfortable? Did they eat well that day? Good days in school? Is my wife happy? And then fitness, how did I make it to the gym? How did I do with my diet? How do I feel physically? And am I hustling? And towards the end of the day, I find that when all of those things are in line with one another, I feel fresher, if that makes sense, as opposed to those days when things don't go well and you're just like, I just really need to down a bottle of vodka and I want to go to bed for 6 days, right? So,
Right.
I mean, there's no really science to it.
Nobody likes
right?
to feel not fresh.
Right, not fresh.
It's like zest for the clean.
I guess.
That's right.
Deodorant.
That's right. Yeah. So one of the things that I'm working on with Pasquale in this whole process of jumping into to coaching agents and just becoming a better leader is becoming a better leader in my own life. And so one of the things that I'm working on is getting better at really locking on and setting the definition of success before I start work for the day, visualizing when it's going to occur, like having a deadline, right? And then focusing on hitting the actual, like boiling it down to a number that can be hit, right? So rather than something abstract. So for you, Andy, it's one moment, right, where you know that you've left a measurable impact on someone's life, where you've brought more value to the conversation than they brought to you, right? So that's your goal, is one, right? It's either you hit it or you don't. It's black and white. It's 1 or 0, binary. For stuff. So I asked Pasquale about this. I'm like, well, I get how that applies to like prospecting numbers and, well, I'm going to make 200 calls or whatever. I said, what about like when you're in like a project-based environment, right, where the goal is to solve a problem, or the goal is to build something, and you don't really know how long it's going to take to build, and you're going to have to solve some problems along the way, and it could be unexpectedly easy or it could be unexpectedly difficult. And this is what he told me. It's like everything can be boiled down to a number. It's like at its most basic fundamental level, if it's that much of an unknown, and the only way that you can gauge whether you're succeeding or not is just by the amount of time that you're putting your head against the wall and pushing on that obstacle, then you set the goal for the amount of time. Right? So if the most important goal for my week is to get a certain project done, but I don't really know how much time and effort it's going to take to get the project done, then the goal is number of minutes, 60 minutes towards this, 120 minutes towards that. And then if I don't and that really gets me boiled, it gets me focused in, like I did this yesterday. The goal was 90 solid focused minutes towards getting these 3 new podcasts launched that my team is producing. Right. So there's a lot of things that went into that, and I could have set different goals and yada, yada. But the point is that I boiled it down to a number and not just a vague, well, I'm going to spend the morning working on this, and then whatever comes out of that comes out of it. I'm like, no, I need to set it down to a number, and then that number, that the quality of that number needs to be high, right? So it needs to be 90 focused minutes. So shut down Facebook, minimize my email, like put my phone away. Like it made me much more clear and intentional on how I spent those 90 minutes when I set it the goal as a number of minutes versus just time blocking, right?
No,
So
see,
the one thing that you're saying that go ahead.
No,
No,
after you, my friend. After you.
So what I was saying was what I love is that you're saying the word intentional, right? And you're actually pre-planning this out. So,
Yeah.
and one of the other things that you mentioned in that intentionality and what you're doing strategically is visualizing through it.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
So if you're visualizing, the only question that I have for you is because a lot of people think about visualization and I talk about it quite a bit when I coach people. And when we talk about like 2018, especially right now, like we have like another week for my one-to-ones to have 2018. It's solid. Like I want them to be able to smell it, taste it, feel it, hear it, see it, be there. Right.
Yeah.
But I also want them to visualize not only the success, but also the obstacles or the potential downfalls or the pitfalls or the roller coasters or the emotions that they're going to experience.
And visualize
there, right?
themselves
so like,
overcoming it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I tell a story to my clients quite a bit, and I think it's incredibly applicable to real estate agents. But the reason why people fail to make it through their swim for the English Channel isn't because the swim's too difficult. That's not it. They fail to swim through the English Channel because of the damn fog. They cannot see through the fog. That's the only reason why they will reach up for the boat. They'll reach up because they can't see where they're going. They didn't know that obstacle was there. They don't know that they're on track. So instead of that, gain clarity on what that obstacle is going to be. Gain clarity on how thick the fog is going to be so you don't have to reach up for the boat, so you can keep swimming.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's one of the things when we take in somebody and we've been doing this for the people that are going to be on the inside of our mastermind, our kind of core group of 5 people that we're going to be coaching and working with them intensely that other people can then watch and learn from. One of the things that we did is we brought them in through a process that we learned from Pasquale Scopoliti, who's been on the show before. He's my mentor, and it's called the F stops. So the format is failure, success, threat, opportunity, problem, solution. And so you work past, future, present, right? So by the time you get to the present, you cover the problem and solution. You've got a good sense of where they've come from and, like where they're going and all this stuff. And it's really, really good. Like Andy, to your point, it really gives you a sense of like, it makes them think about what their problem is now, potential solutions to it, but also assuming they succeed, it gets them to think about what the threat is, right? What's that thing coming down the pipe that, that we need to watch out for and start planning for now? And that sounds like that's exactly what you're doing with your clients.
Yeah. I mean, so I have a huge background in coaching competitive swimming as well, right? So like I have an affinity for Bob Bowman, and Bob Bowman obviously coached Michael Phelps. Phelps in 2007 not only swam and won the gold medal for his 200 fly, but his goggles were freaking busted. Like he visualized through that. In fact, Bowman actually stepped on his goggles during practice to break his goggles and visualize and actually swim through that. And he knew exactly how many strokes. He knew exactly where he was in the pool. He didn't stop. He freaking crushed it. So
I did not know
it
that.
really
Wow.
Yeah, awesome. So, again, I think that a lot of people have great intention and people, they want to succeed, except when they hit those obstacles, they don't necessarily know how to work through it simply because they haven't worked through that themselves. So, I mean, honestly, and you have Pasquale is a phenomenal mentor. I think he's amazing with some of the thought processes that he has. Hank, again, a great confidant in you guys too. And what I will say, and this is not a plug for me, but it is a plug for everyone to find either a mentor or a coach. If you don't have somebody that is speaking into your life and asking the difficult questions to help you through that and help you to understand that it's not all going to be freaking sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, and Skittles popping out the ass. That's not what it's going to be about. Your story, your legacy is going to be about the obstacles that you overcome, the speed bumps that you freaking blow over and just cross the finish line with a world record.
Yeah, there's one of the things that we actually, I think was it Hank or Pasquale brought it out in us, and it's about, everybody wants the end goal, but when it comes down to really understanding the shit you're going to go through to get it, I mean, everybody wants to be a beast, but nobody wants to do what a beast has to do. And that's the nasty, ugly things that nobody talks about because they're horrific when you're going through them, but they're life-changing and inspiring to others as they come behind you. And so when you guys want to be successful, please don't look at the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Steve Wins. Don't look at these guys as like, oh man, it must have been awesome to be them on that journey. Dude, there are so many stories of just heart-wrenching evenings, desperation, freaking out. I mean, Tony Robbins at one point, I remember listening to something
Bankrupt.
about him. Yeah, he went bankrupt. Not only bankrupt, he went into business with a couple of guys. He signed a document. He didn't know what it meant, but he was on the hook for like $130 million. Ouch.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean,
Well, in the first 7 years of his business, he was $750K in debt.
yeah. I mean, he's now cresting $1 billion net worth, flies around on his own private plane, and he still works his ass off. I mean, the man is on a stage every 3 days somewhere in the world. Everyone wants to be him, but I sure as shit don't want that lifestyle. I mean, I spent one day with the guy and I was exhausted. And it was a short one. It was 3 hours. And he does 15, 16 hours. No, that's nutsos.
Yeah. Well, speaking of exhausting, Gene Volpe. No, I'm kidding. I know you have to. I know you have to bounce. And you've muted
You're
yourself.
muted.
Still muted.
I'll figure
And
this
there we go.
technology stuff out at some point.
That's right. That's right.
No,
You're
I'm
only
good.
a tech guru.
I'm good for. I know. I'm good for 3 minutes at this point. My kids are fine standing outside school by themselves.
Oh, good. That's fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. That's awesome. Gene,
I'm
how do people
kidding, I'm
reach
kidding.
out and connect with you?
Just hit me on the website, genevolpe.com. Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
I thought you were supposed to get me a jingle. Where's the jingle?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I talked to
I need to do
Tony.
your
I'll talk to him
17-part
tonight.
harmony. That's right.
No, I'll
All
talk
right,
to him.
Gene.
I'll talk to him tomorrow for you, actually. I got a 2.5-hour conversation with him last night. I'll have him hit you up.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, Gene. We will see you next Friday. Andy, why don't you let people know how they can connect with you?
Sure. So 2 things. Andy at pillar9coaching.com. Again, PILLAR, the number 9coaching.com. Or, feel free to friend me on Facebook. I am not at that 5,000 limit, so feel free to load me up with those likes. And if you're a real estate agent looking for some group sales training, accountability, something like that, trajectorynow.com is what we partner with Aaron Wittenstein for. And that is Tuesdays at 1 Eastern for an hour and 15.
That's good stuff.
Awesome. That's a good group. All right, Greg, why don't you elaborate on how people can connect with us since I talked earlier?
Yes. Guys, if you want one-on-one coaching with me and or Matt individually, go to, for me, book McDaniel. If you want to go to Matt, book Johnson, book a time. I have a 30-minute, that's our initial consultation. After the initial consultation, it is a 60-minute if we both feel there should be a deeper conversation. I want to emphasize, guys, the 30-minute call is not a free coaching call. Do not use it as that, otherwise it will be cut short. This is an opportunity for us to decide if we should work together. And the cost is $497. So if you don't have the money and it's not the right time, please don't waste our time. We're doing this for people who seriously want the coaching. Now, that proverbial slap I just did to you was given to you by Hank Avix, because that's how he told us to talk to you. And that's how we talk. So that's how it is. But I'm dead serious. Don't waste our fucking time. I've already, you guys need to, we give enough away for free. We will never stop giving away for free. But you know what? This is time for us to, this is real money time. Follow me on Facebook if you guys want to see more of the live prospecting calls I do Monday through Thursday for most days, when I show you how prospecting is actually fun, easy, and very entertaining. And then Matt does his lives covering all things very, very deep and intelligent. Matt doesn't think he has the knowledge to be a coach. Pasquale and I both sat with our jaws open going, is he slow in the head? Because I'm pretty sure the man's got enough to talk about, because he has 30 minutes to talk about it. He'd be like, can we water that down by 10 gallons? Because fuck. I have to go back and put it in slow motion to know what he says. No, but all joking around, Matt's very, very intelligent, guys. And if you guys want someone that's extremely good with systems and just, working and how to grow a team and doing what he does, hit him up. He's phenomenal. He's way better than me on that. So if you want to build a team, talk to Matt. If you want to do prospecting, talk to me.
And you said, Greg, you said how much is it for your coaching?
$497.
Yeah, no joke. And y'all need to jump on that, because I'm assuming at some point in time it's going to go up. Mm-hmm. So if you are ready
just
for
flat
something,
out not be available. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah. So I mean, I'm I'm booked out. Like I have one spot, and I have a coaching call this afternoon, actually at 3:30, to take the 20th spot for me. And I'm up, and I won't disclose what my rate is because I operate on invitation and referral only. So I give you the rate when we decide it's ready to move forward. But
it's
for you guys, $1 billion.
It's $1 billion, Frito. It's $1 billion.
Oh,
That's
man.
right. But no joke, guys, $497, like that's a drop in the hat for the investment that you guys are going to get from these two guys. So freaking step up. Like if you guys are thinking about a coach, and you guys should be thinking about that right now for 2018, it's time to step up and step in and let it begin.
Big air hugs. Big air hugs.
Yeah.
Smooches.
And it rhymed, Andy. It rhymed.
Yeah, yes, it did.
It's the singer songwriter in you. You didn't know had in there was trying to get out.
I was actually going with a little Will Smith getting jiggy with it.
Oh God. Even Will Smith isn't proud of that song. Come on now.
That's right.
You're probably right.
I think I am right. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. We've got one more episode before Halloween as we record this in October of 2017. Guys, if you're watching this live, be sure to join us this afternoon for Legends and Losers Live. We're doing a little trading legendary scary stories with Christopher Lockhead. So that is this afternoon at 2:30. And with everyone that is watching, if you're listening on the backside, make sure to subscribe to the show, guys. Subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher, depending on whether you want the video or audio versions. The audio, we want that to be just nestled right here between your ears where we so
deep, so That's deep. Right. Yes, deep.
All right, guys. Yes. Greg, shall we send this one home?
Let's do it, Matt. All right, guys, we did the show because we love you. We always will love you. You guys, if you don't sign up for coaching, that's okay. If you sign up for coaching, we'll love you even more. You'll be able to special kids. No, but in all seriousness, share this out with other people, guys. We do this because we want and need to make this industry better. You know, if you have a good guest that we might want to come on, please contact Matt. He's the one that books all the guests for the show. We do have a cycle of awesome people coming through. But besides that, guys, as always, peace out, ninjas. We go.